Ladies and gentlemen, please stand and remove your hats for the presentation of the colors and the singing of the national anthem. The colors are presented by Cadets Angela Davis, Keegan Garrett, Elizabeth Anderson of the Redmond High School Marine Corps Junior ROTC Color Guard and commanded by Cadet Staff Sergeant Brennan Bennett. Please remain standing and silent until the Color Guard has left the field. Redmond High School JROTC is taught by retired Marines Master Gunnery Sergeant Mike Trammell and Lieutenant Colonel Doug Seal. This program is the only Marine Corps JROTC in the state of Oregon.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the balls bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Oh, what a beautiful day. Convention's today. What time is it? I hope everybody else is up. Bless up. What a great day. Golly gee dang, where are they? We're gonna be late. Convention is today. Convention!
Rising up back on the street. Did my time, took my chances.
Are you ready for the 2017 Oregon FFA State Convention?
Oregon FFA.
Don't back down!
and gentlemen, what you're watching right now is a helicopter landing with your Oregon State officers. Yes, this isn't just something in the air. This is your Oregon State officers. Let's hear the intensity. Get up in this room. Come on, get some attention, get some applause, guys. This is all for you guys here in the room. This is it. Yeah, there he is. You know him. That's your president right there. It's going to take a couple of seconds for them to get out here, but they're so excited to see you guys. As you can see, they're running a bit late. All right. Here they come. Here they come, guys. Hey, wait a second. Did somebody lock the door? Oh, they found it. And they're in the house now, guys.
Oregon FFA, get on your feet for your 2016-2017 State Officer Team. He comes from the streets of Douglas County and the halls of the Sutherland FFA chapter. Let's hear it for your State Sentinel, Bryson Price. He's a maverick hailing from the Dallas FFA chapter and serving as your state reporter. Give it up for Zanden, Unger. Next up is your state treasurer hailing from the seas of Eastern Oregon from the Joseph FFA chapter, Raymond Scheele. Coming to you from the Yamhill Carlton FFA chapter, she is your state secretary and the foundation of our nation, Liberty Greenland. She is the beast from the east and second in command of our association, your state vice president from Embler, Haley Patterson. And finally, the man himself, the head honcho, the big cheese from the Bend FFA chapter, your state president, Shea Booster. Let's hear it for your state advisor, Reynold Gardner, and your state executive secretary, Lee Lynch.
The convention hall will come to order. We are now holding the first general session of the 89th Oregon FFA State Convention. Madam Vice President, are all officers at their stations?
I shall call the roll of officers, determine if they are at their stations, and report back to you, Mr. President. The Sentinel!
Stationed by the door.
Your duties there.
Through this door, past many friends of the FFA. It is my duty to see that the door is open to our friends at all times and that they are welcome. I care for the meeting room and paraphernalia. I strive to keep the room comfortable and assist the president in maintaining order.
The reporter.
The reporter is stationed by the flag.
Why by the flag?
As the flag covers the United States of America, so I strive to inform the people in order that every man, woman, and child may know that the FFA is a national organization that reaches from the states of Alaska to the Virgin Islands, and from Maine to Hawaii.
The treasurer.
Stationed at the emblem of Washington.
Your duties there.
I keep a record of receipts and disbursements just as Washington kept his farm accounts, carefully and accurately. I encourage thrift among the members and strive to build up our financial standing through savings and investments. George Washington was better able to serve his country because he was financially independent.
The secretary. Stationed by the ear of corn. Your duties there.
I keep an accurate record of all meetings and correspond with other secretaries wherever corn is grown and FFA members meet.
The advisor.
Here by the owl.
Why stationed by the owl?
The owl is a time-honored emblem of knowledge and wisdom. Being older than the rest of you, I'm asked to advise you from time to time as a need arises. I hope that my advice will always be based upon true knowledge and ripened with wisdom. Madam Vice President, why do you keep a plow at your station?
The plow is a symbol of labor and tillage of the soil. Without labor, neither knowledge nor wisdom can accomplish much. My duties require me to assist at all times in directing the work of our organization. I preside over meetings in the absence of our president, whose place is beneath the rising sun.
Why is the president so stationed?
The rising sun is the token of a new era in agriculture. If we will follow the leadership of our president, we shall be led out of the darkness of selfishness and into the glorious sunlight of brotherhood and cooperation. Mr. President, all officers are at their stations.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. The Secretary will call the roll of members.
I am pleased to announce that at the first session of the 89th Oregon FFA State Convention, there are 2,053 members and guests present. Mr. President.
Thank you. FFA members, why are we here? To practice brotherhood, honor agricultural opportunities and responsibilities, and develop those qualities of leadership which an FFA member should possess. May we accomplish our purposes. I now declare the first general session of the 89th Oregon FFA State Convention duly open to the transaction of business or attention to any matters which may properly be presented.
Good job, guys.
Thank you, Cameron Seaver, for that wonderful rendition of our national anthem. Let's all give Cameron a huge round of applause. Members and guests, welcome to the 2017 Oregon FFA State Convention. Over the past year, the state officers have traveled the state from corner to corner. In that time, we've had some wonderful experiences and made some great memories thanks to all of you. But now, everyone is here under the same roof, ready to make this the greatest convention in Oregon FFA history. This year's convention theme is Don't Back Down. Throughout our travels, we never saw an FFA member shy from a challenge. Over the next 4 days here at convention, we will learn what Don't Back Down truly means, starting with tonight's session, Stand Your Ground. Tomorrow, we will learn to live with spirit and to build our lives step by step. On Sunday, we will hear what it means to be fearless and to rise to the occasion. And on Monday, we will hear how to stand out. Don't back down to FFA members means to stand for what you believe in, to fight for what you deem right, and to stick by those you care about. One member I know who never backs down is Joseph Pereira of the Crater FFA chapter. I first met Joseph last year at CDE Days, and we immediately sparked a friendship and grew exceptionally close. While I was getting to know Joseph, he shared with me one of the most inspiring stories I have ever heard. This is the story of Joseph Pereira and what Don't Back Down means to him. When Joseph was 9 years old, his mother was diagnosed with a debilitating disease that eventually left her unable to support Joseph and his siblings. A tremendous weight was laid on Joseph's shoulders. At the age of 16, he stepped up to become the sole provider for his family and the primary caregiver for his mother. But Joseph, he didn't back down. He didn't even bat an eye. Joseph quickly recognized his family's situation and began to work. Not just one job, no, 2 jobs wasn't gonna cut it. Joseph picked up 3 different jobs because even when he is surrounded by adversity, Joseph not only pushes back, he does so with a smile on his face. For anyone that knows Joseph, he does not shoulder this responsibility out in the open. Instead, he silently carries it and is driven by his sense of duty and his love for his family. Joseph Pereira embodies our state convention theme, Don't Back Down, and he inspires me every day to stand for what I believe in. Thank you, Joseph. Joseph taught me a lesson I will never forget, and it all stemmed with a short conversation. Oregon FA, I challenge each and every one of you to take advantage of every minute we have together. As members, we dedicate 365 days of our time, energy, and passions to this organization. But today I ask of you a little more. Over the next 4 days here at the 89th Oregon FA Convention, I challenge you to remember that we don't back down. I was 13 years old, walking tall in the cafeteria as a 6th grader, rocking my usual outfit. High-rise and black leather cowboy boots, Batman shirt, cape, and of course a Batman mask. You may be thinking, wait, you were 13 in 6th grade? Yes, I was. 1st grade, best 2 years of my life. Anyway, there I was, minding my own business, when an 8th grade boy named Jimmy approached me wanting to talk about superheroes. Of course I was interested in the conversation. I knew everything there was to know about superheroes, especially the Batman. But while we were conversing, I recognized an unfortunate pattern. This poor guy thought Superman was better than Batman. At first, I was going to respect his ignorance. I was going to walk away and let him think he was right. That was, of course, until he insulted the Batman. He insulted the Batman, my boy, my man, my idol. I was not about to back down. Instead, I decided I would stand my ground for what I believed in. His leading argument was, Superman's better. Okay, Jimmy, why? Superman's just better. Yes, Jimmy, you just said that. Well, he is. I thought to myself, okay, so this is how it's going to be. All right, Jimmy, what is Superman's greatest superpower? Oh, okay. Well, he's got super health, super strength, magic eyes, x-ray vision, and don't forget about his Kryptonian ice breath. What? What does any of that even mean? Magic eyes? Jimmy, it's called heat vision. When has Superman ever done anything cool with his heat vision? Exactly. Superman probably waits outside of a retirement home, ready to heat up some old woman's oatmeal in the morning. And the only reason they gave him that Kryptonian ice breath is so that he could chill that oatmeal when he overheats it, because Jimmy, Superman can't even get that right. I was just getting started, about to let Jimmy know how wrong he really was. But it was at that point I had a realization. Maybe standing my ground wasn't about winning an argument. After all, it certainly wasn't about making enemies. So in that moment, I reached my hand out for Jimmy's. He hesitated before reaching back, but as we shook, I said, you know, Jimmy, Batman could always use a sidekick. And so on that day on the playground, we formed the Justice League. Tonight, we have the opportunity to stand for what we love about the FFA. We will hear from our welcome speaker, Casey Roats, begin a new stand with our chapter charters, and recognize our foundation partners. We will then see the hard work and dedication of our Creed speakers when we announce the State Creed Speaking Career Development Event results. We will then bestow our Distinguished Service Award upon members and servants who have served FFA member everywhere. Finally, we will hear the inspiring words from our keynote speaker, Scheele, as well as the retiring address from our state reporter, Zanden Unger. Tonight is only made possible by the generosity of our session sponsor, Dickman Farms. Let's give Dickman Farms a huge round of applause. Members and guests, get ready to scream and to shout, to celebrate and look forward to the future. Over the course of this convention, I encourage everyone to unite as one family and one association, because our time here together is limited, and we cannot take that for granted. Let's get fired up for convention, and remember to stand your ground. Our next speaker is no stranger to the FFA. In fact, he even served as an Oregon FFA state officer. He grew up in Bend and even attended the same high school that I attended. Ladies and gentlemen, our welcome speaker, the mayor of my hometown, the mayor of Bend, Mr. Casey Roats.
You guys know when you go to concerts and the concerts open up, and if they're a big act like rock stars or country music superstars, it's exciting and the crowd really gets into it, and then they have to play the slow song to kind of bring you down because they can't keep it forever? I feel like the slow song right now. That was super impressive. A lot has changed since my time in the FFA. We didn't come in on helicopters, and we didn't have Jared Neiman coming here tomorrow night. So I would say things are looking up. Welcome to Central Oregon. Welcome to the Deschutes County Fairgrounds. And on behalf of all the cities in Central Oregon, thank you very much for taking the first weekend of your spring break to be here with us. Our entire region is incredibly excited to share our facility and our community with you. I'm sure many of you are stretched out in motel rooms all around Redmond, and probably a few in Bend and who knows where else. All of our communities welcome you. We're glad you're here. I am particularly proud as a city council member and now the mayor of Bend to have you folks here, because I talk about this organization a lot to my colleagues and the people in Bend. I know you'll represent your organization and my experience as well to the community, and I thank you in advance for that. I remember the first state FFA convention I went to was in La Grande, and it must have been in 1996 or so. What an experience that was. And for those of you in the audience from every different corner of the state of Oregon, I hope this is a stepping stone for you to go home to your chapter and invest just that much more. I hope there's an experience or a career development event that piques your interest, and I hope this is a stepping stone, especially for you freshmen and sophomore like it was for me. I remember back in our day, as a state FFA officer, we traveled around the state without cell phones. We used paper maps, and I think how much the world has changed. But one thing that hasn't changed is what this organization can do for you and what it can do for your community. I want to make sure that we give a special welcome and invitation to enjoy our community to the supporters of the FFA, and especially those of you that work with the FFA Foundation. What you're doing for these young people makes a tremendous difference in their lives, and it's not lost on us, those of us who share these experiences. Thank you very, very much. And also, I want to make sure and make a special point to thank all the ag teachers who are here this weekend with their students. I just recently have gotten into public service, and I think only now, in my experiences to that time, do I better understand what it really means to give back in some small part. And for those of you that have chosen to make this a career, and a good number of you are friends of mine, and spouses of ag teachers, who may as well be ag teachers, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. One of the things I wanted to share with you is it is an honor to be the mayor of Bend, and it's an honor to have been a former FFA member. And one of the things that led to me being selected by my colleagues to serve in that role for the next 2 years is the fact that I had been a part of this organization. And that is because in that role, we have to run the meetings, and it's the presiding officer's job or duty to conduct the business of the city and run an effective meeting. And there had been a yearning on council to do that, and when those of us who had an interest in holding that position or having that title were working with our colleagues to figure out who would do that, I actually convinced the swing vote that it should be my role for the next 2 years because I knew how to run meetings. And when I was able to explain to him my experiences in large part to my time as a member of the Oregon FFA Association, it absolutely got me over the top. And now I'm able to use that position to advocate for my community, on our community's interest, just like you can in the things you might choose to do in the future. One of the things I wanted to do, and I see they're not actually here right now, they're probably getting ready for a busy weekend, but for the past state officer candidates, a special welcome to them in particular because they'll have a very busy week. I hope and I know that every state officer team to come is sitting in this audience right now from whatever part of the state you might be from. And I wanted to share just for a second an experience that hopefully those of you can take and understand that not backing down means not giving up. And when I was a state officer candidate, the convention that year was in Roseburg. And I came out of the nomination committee process, and I was slated in the president's spot with a young woman from Union named Audrey Stockhoff. And we got ready to give our speeches, and I'd been up the entire night before trying to get ready to give that speech. And that night, or that morning, I stood up on the stage, and I think if they still do it the same way, you were given 3 minutes, and then the microphone was cut off, just like that. And I think I went first, and I got up, and I stumbled, and I bumbled, and I mumbled my way through the biggest 3-minute mess you've ever heard. And for those of you who ever watched Napoleon Dynamite, when Pedro gives his speech, it was more stirring and more riveting by a wide margin than what I was able to do. And that's not really an exaggeration. And then the next speaker, who was also slated as president, I think she could smell blood in the water. She was merciless. And she got up, and she was empathetic and warm and prepared and organized. And the delegates rightly chose the correct state president for that year. But I use that example to let you know there's nothing you can't come back from. And for those of you, and I think that this theme this year speaks to that, not backing down is not giving up. And you being here indicates that you have it in you to be a state officer and to be one of the people on this stage. It is my pleasure to welcome you to our community and to our region. You are our guests. Thank you very much for coming, and thank you for having me.
Don't regret, don't regret. Mayor Roats, on behalf of all of Oregon FFA, thank you for spending tonight with us. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule and sharing that important message with all of our members. Please accept this as a token of our appreciation. Thank you. Members and guests, for the last time, the Mayor of Bend, Casey Roats. Going right up there. Madam Secretary, will you read the requirements for the chapter charter?
Establishing a chapter begins with prospective members and their advisor contacting their state supervisor of agricultural education. Approval by the local school board administration, development of a chapter constitution, preparation of a program of activities, election of chapter officers, and submission of national dues are the next steps in establishing a chapter.
Tonight we are pleased to present our 3 newest chapters. The Brookings Harbor FFA chapter, represented tonight by advisor Wes Faricoli and chapter president Jamie Schultz. The Mount Angel FFA chapter, represented by advisor Mrs. Corey Scheele and chapter president Lillian Flood. And unfortunately not able to be with us here tonight, but also chartered this year, the Riverside FFA chapter. The Oregon FFA is nearly 6,000 members strong, and each and every one of us wishes you the best of luck in your future endeavors. You may be starting as a new independent chapter, but know that you are never alone. For the rest of the chapters in the state have your back. At times, there may be struggles. However, if you can remain committed to your goals, just as Batman is committed to defending Gotham City, then you have nothing to fear. The entire association wishes you the best of luck this year and in the years to come. Oregon FFA, as they exit the stage, let's give these chapters one more round of applause. To introduce our next speaker, please help me welcome Michaela Unger and Michaela Lejeune to the podium.
Growing up, I always wanted a sister, but quickly learned that we don't always get what we want. Now that I am older, I have realized that it was okay that I didn't have a sister because I needed a brother. Zanden challenges me to be a better person every day and has helped shape me into the person that I am today. He's also a great sidekick and one of the only people I know that will ride the world's largest slingshot or tallest and fastest roller coaster. Zanden has always been up for whatever challenge you put in front of him, whether it is fighting for a few yards to get a first down on the football field or running for state office. He's proof that adversity is something you can overcome. Zanden has a huge compassion for people and a love for life that is shown through in his year of service. I am so glad that Oregon FFA has gotten the chance to know him, laugh with him or at him, be motivated by him, and also see what I have had to deal with for the last 18 years. I know this is only the beginning.
Since the day we met, I always knew Zanden was going to be a second brother to me. Even when we have competed head-to-head, no matter the ending, we have always supported each other. I remember the time when Zanden and I were in showmanship and the judge asked for a rear view. And well, you know, great minds think alike, so we gave him a rear view. From watching Zanden through the years of playing sports, showing animals, and participating in FFA, I always knew that he would excel at anything put in his path. Ever since the last 1 minute and 6 seconds of his last football game, Zanden's life has changed, but he hasn't let one little obstacle block his path. I know that anything that tries to hold Zanden down, he will only use as a motivator to be stronger.
We are proud to introduce your 2016-2017 Oregon FFA State Reporter, my brother
and my friend,
Zanden Paul Unger.
But Manzi, P.U.
He said I was in my early 40s with a lot of life before me when a moment came that stopped me on a dime. I spent most of the next days looking at the x-rays, talking about the options and talking about sweet time. I asked him when it sank in that this might really be the real end. How's it hit you when you get that kind of news? Man, what'd you do? And he said, I went skydiving, I went Rocky Mountain climbing, I went 2.7 seconds on a bull named Blue Manchu, and I looked deeper and I spoke sweeter and I gave forgiveness I've been denying. And he said, someday I hope you get the chance to live like you were dying.
April 15th, 2013. For most, it was just another ordinary day. The sun was shining, the birds were chirping, it was finally warm outside, and summer was almost here. But this wasn't just any ordinary day. No, this was something special. This was my 15th birthday, my sweet 15. Not my sweet 16, my sweet 15. This meant I was 1 year closer to getting my license, which meant I was 1 year closer, just a little bit of freedom. But first, I had to get my permit. It seemed school had taken forever that day to get over, but I was finally in my last class. But all of a sudden, right before I left that classroom, something happened. Suddenly, kids are pulling out their phones to check the news of what just went on. Our teacher frantically grabbing the remote to enlighten us of what just happened. Another terrorist attack. But this wasn't just any terrorist attack. No. This wasn't a terrorist attack on our home soil. The Boston bombing. As I left class that day, I couldn't help but think how lucky I was to live another day, to still be alive. So I got home and I looked at the news. I asked myself, what is this world coming to? What is the answer to all of this? Now, we may all have different opinions, but today we're going to talk about what I believe the most inspirational, most powerful tool we need is. And that tool is love. And no, I'm not talking about that ridiculous middle school love we had as sixth graders. And I'm definitely not talking about that love we all had as kids for Christmas Day. I'm talking about love that can save lives and literally move mountains. But first, we have to understand the overall power and the word love. And second, we have to learn to love ourselves until finally we can love other people. It's been said before that love holds the power to move mountains. I was just 8 years old when my great-grandmother told me the story of Dasheth Monahee, the man that proved love can move mountains. Dasheth's wife was climbing a nearby hill when she fell and suffered terrible injuries. She needed quick medical assistance, but due to the mountain that isolated their small village from the next town, it wasn't possible. Before Dasheth could do anything about it, his wife died. It was that night, completely heartbroken and crushed, Dasheth Monahee decided to carve a path through that mountain in order for his village to receive quicker medical assistance. It was an insane plan, and he was ridiculed for it. But after 22 years of the greatest willpower and determination, a path was carved through that mountain. His life worked, helping to reduce the distance from 55 kilometers down to 15, so that never again would such a thing happen. The power of love is more powerful than we can imagine. Powerful enough to move mountains. The story's true. And definitely eye-opening about the power that love truly holds. But since I've been alive, no one's moved a mountain for me. But that's just it. That's the beauty in the word love. It comes in different forms and sizes. Every day before I left for school, my mom would tell me that she loved me. She may have never dug a hole through a mountain to save my life or anybody else's, but she didn't have to. Even the simplest acts of love can change someone's day from terrible to great in the matter of seconds. We all have the capacity to holster the power of love. Maybe change someone's day. Maybe to move mountains. But first, we have to love ourselves until finally we can love other people. It was freshman year, and I can remember like it was almost yesterday. David and I, we were having the greatest day in math class, messing with the substitute. You all know how you do it. We were just being kids. And we were sitting in class laughing so hard that tears were literally streaming down our face. And literally for the first time ever, I was sad to leave math. And David and I went on our separate ways. The day went on, school finally ended. I got home from practice exhausted, only to find my mom in tears. She tried to break the news to me best she could. She said, Zanden, you don't want to sit down for this. I don't know how to tell you this. And it's going to hurt. But David attempted suicide while no one was home. He's being rushed to the Portland hospital as we speak. I'm so sorry. Just know I love you. I didn't know what to think. Angry, mad, sad, confused. What had happened to my friend that made everyone laugh no matter the circumstance? How could I have not seen this coming? Why him? I didn't sleep at all that night. The next day, my mom took my friend Alex and I up to see him. She parked our car. I could feel my heart pounding and aching all at the same time. I got to his floor. I couldn't even speak. We met his mom at the door, and she was devastated. So she let us inside. As I walked in, I almost immediately burst into tears, seeing my friend almost unrecognizable, with his head wrapped, his skin white as a ghost, and his lips dark blue. What had I done wrong for him to not see that I loved and needed him? I never fully realized why David wasn't with me until recently. You see, David never loved himself completely. David focused so much on making other people happy and focused so much on making others laugh, he wasn't able to find the importance in himself to the people he held around him. David loved making people happy and never once meant to hurt someone. But David couldn't find a reason to love himself, even though everyone around him could. Do I take partial responsibility for not helping him see it every single day? But David loved other people. And he ended up hurting the ones he loved because he didn't and couldn't love himself. We have to love ourselves before we can love other people. Don't focus so much on others that you forget about the great things about yourself. Of course, it's nice to hear others say, I love you. But as weird as it sounds, we have to tell ourselves the same thing. Not in a cocky way, but a reassuring way. A way that says, I am beautiful, I'm unique, I'm special, and I'm important because each of you are. It shouldn't take others telling you that for you to realize it. Thank you, David, for influencing my life. Nobody really realized the importance of loving myself. I love and miss you, man. Once we learn to love ourselves, we can finally love other people. Earlier this year, we were visiting Roseburg High School, and I was going to be staying at Miss Marley Fassler's house. Give her a round of applause for that. We were catching up before going to bed, and she told me something that caught me off guard. She said she enlisted in the Army. Shocked, I asked her why. Well, it wasn't always my dream. It's a long story, actually. She told me about her friend who attended Umpqua Community College. But I could feel the sadness in her voice when she mentioned his name. My friend was a victim of the school shooting. It was always his dream to serve in the military. I decided if he wasn't able to accomplish his dreams, I'll do it for him. I didn't know what to say. Astonished by how much heart it takes for a friend to pause their dreams, to serve dreams taken from others. That's instantly when I knew Marley was a girl that loved herself enough to love other people. Marley's willing to give the ultimate sacrifice of putting her life on the line to serve others and keep us safe and fulfill a dream taken from her friend. If Marley's willing to do that, what are you willing to do to show others you love them? How much love are you willing to give to serve those around you? Think of an act of love given to you. How can you return the favor? Maybe it's waking up at 6 a.m. so you can feed your siblings livestock so they can have just a couple extra hours of sleep. Or maybe it's calling up your granny so you can invite her out to lunch so she knows you're still thinking about her. Or maybe it's staying after class to tutor your classmate that's been struggling day after day so he can be successful. Marley loved herself enough to love other people. And that love is felt by those around her every single day. Because in the presence of love, obstacles melt away. Love is the force that will destroy any obstacle standing in your way. Whatever it is, a terrifying illness, a friend or family member that's lost, or a financial situation that seems impossible to overcome. Love will trump any fear you may have. Believe in the power of love, the power of loving ourselves, and the power of loving other people. Let's change the way we look at these obstacles, and let's change the way we look at this world. Instead of seeing a mountain too high to climb, let love dig a tunnel through it. Let yourselves feel the excitement, enthusiasm, power, peace, and overall joy of love. Believe in the power of love. Once we realize the power that love truly holds, we can utilize it to finally love ourselves and love other people. Oregon FFA, if you take one thing away from our time here tonight, or this entire convention, just remember, I love you.
You're killing, people dying, children hurt, and you hear them crying. When you practice what you preach, and what you turn the other cheek. Father, 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 help us, send some guidance from above. These people got me questioning, where is the love? Where is love?
Zanden, over the past year I have been truly blessed to have grown close to you. Your attitude towards the FFA, as well as its members, shows the amount of passion you have for this great organization. In your last year of service, you have helped not only myself, but every member grow to their full potential, and for that, I'm forever thankful. From staying up way too late at leadership camp, to jumping into the frigid waters of Subtle Lake, or rescuing 19 of us district officers that were stranded on an elevator, just know that if you're ever in the small town of Prineville, I'm always down for a night of fishing. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2016-2017 Oregon FFA State Reporter, Zanden Unger.
I met Zanden through FFA. Last fall, he came to my school, and my family hosted the state officers. Zanden has become an amazing friend and mentor. Through this relationship, he has inspired me, and I want to give back as he has shown me how to do. When he was at my school, the workshops he was leading were engaging and motivating all different kinds of students. Zanden has truly inspired me to be more involved in not only FFA, but in my school and community. He is someone who always has kind, encouraging words to say. I am positive he has left a lasting impression on this organization and everyone he has come in contact with. Zanden, thank you for your service to FFA in the state of Oregon. I cannot wait to see what you will accomplish next in your life.
Zanden, live, love, and don't back down. Bryson, Raymond, Liberty, Haley, and Shea. Oregon FFA, your 2016-2017 Oregon FFA State Reporter, Zanden Unger.
And 1, 2, 3, like a bird I sing, 'cause you've given me the most beautiful set of wings. And I'm so glad you're here today, 'cause tomorrow I might have to go and fly away, fly away.
The Oregon FFA Foundation's mission is to coordinate sustainable long-term funding for agricultural education and the Oregon FFA. The foundation and its partners are what keep the wheels turning for our association. Without the foundation, the association wouldn't have the capability to run as it currently does. The Oregon FFA Foundation acquires partnerships with businesses and industries all over the state. They also offer internships to FFA members through the Foundation Ambassador Program. Our foundation truly does go above and beyond the call of duty. They are the Alfred to our Batman. Without their care and generosity, our association would not be at its strongest. They truly are the backbone of our organization. Something I am very grateful for and have been all year is the FFA trucks provided to our association from the foundation. Without this donation, the 6 state officers would have to travel the state in our own personal cars. Having brand new Ram trucks is a lot nicer than having to cruise around and roll up to chapter visits in my mom's 1994 Pontiac Traverse minivan. My mom's all upset out there. The foundation truly saved all 6 of us from social suicide this year, and we are grateful for it. But the foundation does not only support state officers, but all of Oregon FFA. This past year, the Oregon FFA Foundation began a new initiative called the Blue Jacket Experience. Through the partnership of Northwest Farm Credit, 85 jackets were donated to chapters to be given to members so they could fully immerse themselves in this organization. The foundation truly does open doors for all members of our association. Let's give them a huge round of applause. They're on their way out now. We're going to start out with our Farms for FFA partners. Let's give them one more round of applause as they enter the stage. Our Farms for Oregon FFA partners are Foreman Ranch, Fox Hollow Ranch, Goshi Farms, Meadow Ridge Farms, Northwest Onion Company, Northwest Transplants, Three Sisters Livestock, Wigrich Farms, Inc. Help me thank our Farms for FFA partners one final time as they exit the stage. Our 2017 Oregon FFA Star Partners. Let's give them a round of applause as they enter the stage as well. Bob's Red Mill, Capital Press, Clackamas County Farm Bureau, Deschutes County Farm Bureau, the Oregon Department of Agriculture, Oak Park Farms, Inc., the Oregon Farm Bureau, Young Farmers and Ranchers, Peterson Cat, and Wilson Motors. Help me thank our star partners one more time as they exit the stage. Our Oregon FFA 2-star partners for 2017. Let's give them a round of applause. They enter the stage. Country Financial, Kerr Contracting, Stoll Reeves, and Beaver Coach Sales and Service. Help me thank our 2-star partners one more time as they exit the stage. Our 2017 Oregon FFA 3-star partners. They're running a little late because they're helping out some FFA members. Let's just go with that. Grange Co-op. NORPAC. Northwest Transplants. The Oregon FFA alumni. The SAFE Corporation. Northwest Ag Show. CHS. Veterinarian Services, Inc. And Bob and Joan Barton. Help me thank our 3-star partners one more time as they exit the stage. Our 3 Oregon FFA silver partners are Bobo Cattle Company, Geffen Mesher, and Northwest Farm Credit Services. Here with us tonight to accept this award, President Brent Fetch. Please help me thank our silver partners one more time as they exit the stage. Oregon FFA, our gold level partners are Harvest Capital Company. With us tonight, our owners, Brian and Lori Field. Our second gold level partner is Les Schwab Tires. Our final gold level partner is the Ford Family Foundation. Let's give them all a round of applause. And now, our platinum Oregon FFA partner, Wilco.
That's going to end up on Facebook. So.
I think they like you. Wilco is a tremendous supporter of the FFA and agriculture. With us here to accept this award is CEO Doug Hoffman and Wilco store managers. Almost 30 Wilco store managers. Please help me welcome Mr. Hoffman to the podium for a special presentation.
It is always a great honor to be here and to receive your applause and thanks, and it's really a pleasure to be able to serve the FFA. I had to bring a team up here with me this year because this is the team that quite honestly raises the funds. They represent over 900 employees that have helped raise the funds. We work with our 3,300 members, our 250,000 customers, our 100 vendors to raise money for Oregon FFA. And it is with a great deal of pleasure that we're able to give you a check for $157,500 this year. It's our honor to be able to present the check because we believe in you and each one of you and what you're making a difference in your lives. When you put on that blue coat, you're impressive. When you take off the blue coat, you should be equally impressive. That's what we ask of our employees. That's what we ask of our nation. And I encourage you to do that and continue to stand strong for Oregon FFA. Thank you.
Thank you to all of the Wilco members, employees, and CEO Doug Hoffman for all of the support over the years. We appreciate all of it. Oregon FFA for the final time, Wilco. Let's get loud and wild for Wilco. Our foundation partnerships is a major component to the success of our organization. We are grateful for all of your support. Please join me in thanking all of our recipients one more time. Supported by our event sponsor, Bates Ranch, and our Oregon Foundation star partner, Harvest Capital Company, the Creed Speaking Career Development event gives our Greenham members a chance to begin building their public speaking skills while learning and teaching others about what the FFA is, what it stands for, and what it means to our members. The Creed has been spoken for over 80 years by countless numbers of FFA members across the country, but these final 8 participants are truly impressive. Not only have they memorized the Creed, but they have presented it in front of numerous people, but also answered a question in relation to the Creed by a panel of judges. For many of these participants, speaking at this level did not come naturally. It took long hours of hard work to get them where they are today. They stood their ground through thick and thin to stand before you tonight. Let's give all of our Creed speakers one large round of applause. Our sponsor for this event also believes in the ideals of the FFA Creed. Members and guests, join me in thanking our event sponsor, Bates Ranch. Ladies and gentlemen, the final 8 Oregon FFA Creed speakers. From Embler, Sydney Bowman. From Malala, Emily Mendoza. From Rogue River, Gabe Tambellini. From North Clackamas, Kristen Sinatra. From Pendleton, Macy Rossell. Tillamook, Clara Blazer. From Sutherland, Reagan Leatherwood. And from Silverton, Haley Towery. As a special treat, the participants will give the Creed together. Each participant will give a portion of the Creed demonstrating their speaking abilities and knowledge of it.
The FFA Creed by E.M. Tiffany.
I believe in the future of agriculture, with a faith born not of words, but of deeds. Achievements won by the present and past generations of agriculturalists, in the promise of better days through better ways, even as the better things we now enjoy have come to us from the struggles of former years.
I believe that to live and work on a good farm or to be engaged in other agricultural pursuits is pleasant as well as challenging.
For I know the joys and discomforts of agricultural life and hold an inborn fondness for those associations, which even in hours of discouragement, I cannot deny.
I believe in leadership from ourselves and respect from others. I believe in my own ability to work efficiently and think clearly, with such knowledge and skill as I can secure.
And in the ability of progressive agriculturists to serve our own and the public interest in producing and marketing the product of our toil.
I believe in less dependence on begging and more power in bargaining, and the life abundant and enough honest wealth to help make it so for others as well as myself.
In less need for charity and more of it when needed. In being happy myself and playing square with those whose happiness depends upon me.
I believe that American agriculture can and will hold true to the best traditions of our national life, and that I can exert an influence in my home and community, which will stand solid for my part in that inspiring task. Thank you.
Let's congratulate all of our participants on a job well done. And now for the results. In fourth place, from North Clackamas, Kristen Sinatra. In third place, from Malala, Emily Mendoza. In second place, from Rogue River, Gabe Tambellini. And in first place, representing Oregon FFA at the National FFA Convention, from Pendleton, Macy Russell. As they exit the stage, join me in congratulating our top 8 Creed speakers and our sponsor, Bates Ranch. The Distinguished Service Award is given to individuals and companies who have gone above and beyond the call of duty for our organization and its members. The FFA grants many opportunities to its members, such as travel, lifelong friendships, and various career development events. Much of this would not be possible without the support of these recipients. Would the Secretary's table please introduce this year's recipients?
This evening we recognize Southern Oregon Nursery. Southern Oregon Nursery has provided plants to the Oregon FFA State Nursery Career Development event each year it is hosted in the area. They have also been very supportive of local FFA chapters and the Southern Oregon District. Please help me in thanking Southern Oregon Nursery and awarding them the Oregon FFA Distinguished Service Award. And Northwest Farm Credit Services. Northwest Farm Credit Services has been an award sponsor for Oregon FFA for years. Recently, they have increased their sponsorship to roll out a statewide Blue Jacket experience, providing the FFA jacket to every chapter that submits a student. Please help me in thanking Northwest Farm Credit Services and awarding them the Oregon FFA Distinguished Service Award. Congratulations to the Southern Oregon Nursery and the Northwest Farm Credit Services, and thank you all for your continued support to our members.
As they exit the stage, please join me in thanking and congratulating all of our Distinguished Service Award recipients. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker is something of a legend. He is known around the country for his unique way of connecting with youth, his humor, and his beard-growing abilities. He focuses on what we should do in life rather than what we should not do. We are all lucky to have him with us here tonight. Members and guests, please join me in welcoming our keynote speaker, Mr. Kyle Scheele.
Thank you. How you guys doing tonight? I want to tell you a story. When I was in high school, I was in student council, and I got to skip class a lot to go do different leadership events like you guys are probably used to. And we put on this event every year called Every 15 Minutes. Some of you guys may have heard of this. It's been going on for decades. It still happens around the country. And every 15 minutes is a whole day-long series of events that's designed to drive home the statistic that every 15 minutes, someone in the United States dies in an alcohol-related car accident. And at the beginning of the day, they staged a car accident in front of our school. They brought in 2 wrecked cars from the junkyard. They re-wrecked them in front of the school. They had students inside the cars that were smoking. The cars were smoking, not the students. And would have been a bad example. And the police came, and the fire department came, and a helicopter landed on the lawn, which I know you guys are used to. You just land helicopters all over the place around here, apparently. But it was this emotional thing, and we all knew that it wasn't real. We all knew that it had been staged. They weren't trying to emotionally traumatize us, but they want us to go through what would that be like if that was your friend? And then throughout the day, they had all these activities planned. Like every 15 minutes, they would pull a student out of class. They would paint that person's face white. They would put them in a white t-shirt. And for the rest of the day, they couldn't talk. They couldn't interact. They couldn't do anything but go to their class and serve as a silent reminder of the statistic. So at the beginning of the day, there's nobody like that. And then after an hour, there's 4 people, then 8 people, then 12 people. And every time you're coming out of a class, you're seeing more and more people like this. And they're reminding you on the announcements, hey, that represents a real person. But the culmination of all of this stuff was at the end of the day when they had an assembly. But it wasn't like a regular assembly, because during this assembly, they had a funeral as though one of our students had been killed by a drunk driver. Now, again, we all knew this student wasn't really dead. We knew she was very much alive, but it was still an emotional thing. Like her friends were there and her family, and they were talking about her and telling stories from her life and showing pictures of her. And even though we all knew she was alive, people were crying, and it was a very emotional thing. The only weird thing about this whole assembly was that there was a real coffin on the stage, and she was really in it. And I got out of class that day to help put on all these different events. And what usually happens when you get out of class for an entire day is you're not actually doing something for the entire day. Usually what happens is you get a task, you get an assignment, you get a job, you go do that, and then you get done, and you go back to your teacher, and they say, okay, we need to wait till the bell rings, and then we're going to do something in the hallways, or we need to wait until this other person gets done, and then you're going to pair up. And there's kind of little breaks of 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. During one of these breaks, I got done with my last task, and I went up to my advisor, Mr. Kinslow, and I said, Kinslow, what do you need me to do? He said, Kyle, I need you to get the coffin. The coffin's going to be delivered any minute now, and we're going to have to carry it in. It's probably heavy. It's a big coffin, so grab another person, grab another guy, go down there and carry that coffin in. So I grabbed my friend Andrew. He's another big guy. We walked down to the auditorium. We're sitting in the auditorium waiting for this guy to show up. And in the back of our auditorium, like in a lot of auditoriums, there's a big roll-up garage door. There's actually one backstage here so that you can bring in big props and set pieces and you don't have to carry them down the stairs or whatever. This garage door just went straight outside. And so we're sitting next to that garage door waiting, and then all of a sudden we hear bang, bang, bang. We roll up the door. and there's the coffin delivery man, or whatever his job title was. And he's standing there and he looks flustered. Do you ever see somebody and you're like, this dude is not having a great day? That's what this dude looked like. He was just like sweating and he's like checking his watch. He's like, dude, I'm supposed to be on this other thing and I'm late coming here and I don't even know if I'm in the right spot. He's just like, all these words are coming out of his face. And I was like, dude, you're cool. You're in the right spot. I know exactly what this is for. I can sign your paper. I can take the coffin. You're good, man. You just go. And he was like so relieved. He's like, oh, thank you so much. And so we sign his paper. We roll the coffin inside. We shut the door. He leaves. Actually, he left before we shut the door. Otherwise, he would have just run into the door. So he leaves. Then we shut the door. And now it's me and my friend Andrew and the coffin. Now, again, we thought we were going to have to carry the coffin inside. That's why there was two of us. But in fact, the coffin came on this like rolling cart thing, and the guy had already unloaded it onto that. It was easy, so we just had to roll it in. Really only took one person. And so I said, Andrew, we can save a lot of time here. I can roll this up to the front of the stage. You can go tell Mr. Kinslow the coffin's here, and we'll cut down on time. And he said, that's a great idea, Kyle. I'll do that. You do this. Team on 3. 1, 2, 3, team. We didn't really do that. There was 2 of us. That would have been dumb. So he leaves, and he goes to get Mr. Kinslow. And I come from the back of the stage, and I wheel this thing up, and there's curtains, and there's set pieces, and I wheel it all the way up to the front of the stage. And now it's just me and the coffin. Do you ever have one of those ideas? And like right away, you know 2 things about the idea. First, you're like, this is a terrible idea. I should not do this. But second, you're like, I'm definitely going to do this. So I open the lids and I climb into the coffin. And I close myself inside. And I'm like so proud of myself. Have you ever been proud of your idea, right? And I'm like just laying there. I'm like, this is going to be so great. They're going to come up. They're not going to know where I am. And then I jump out and scare them. It'll be awesome. But I like really underestimated how long it would take Andrew to get down to Mr. Kinslow's room and back. Like I was in there for a long time, really just thinking about my life. But eventually I hear footsteps coming back, but it was too many footsteps, you know? Like I thought Andrew would go get Mr. Kinslow, the 2 of them would come back, I would jump out and surprise the 2 of them who I was really close friends with, and we'd, you know, they'd forgive me. It would just be a little kind of funny thing to happen with 3 people. But I forgot. The reason Mr. Kinslow wasn't getting the coffin himself is that he was a teacher and he was teaching a class during that hour. So when Andrew went down and got Mr. Kinslow, he said, Kinslow, the coffin's here. And Kinslow said, great, that's what we've been waiting for. Class, grab your bags. We're heading down to the auditorium. You can help us get set up. And so instead of just Mr. Kinslow and Andrew coming in, now it's Mr. Kinslow, Andrew, and like 30 students. They all walk in, they see the coffin. They're like, how often do you get to see a coffin up close, right? So now they all come up to see it. That was like stage 1 of where my plans started to fall apart. Stage 2 is this. I thought that Mr. Kinslow would open the coffin and just jump back for half a second, but then he would quickly see my face, right? And he would recognize me because we had spent a lot of time together in classes, and I had taken a couple classes of his. I was in student council. We worked together a lot. He knew what I looked like. But I forgot that this coffin actually had 2 lids. It had one lid that covered your face, and it had another lid that covered your feet. The dude flipped open the wrong lid. So now instead of seeing my face and jumping back, he sees my feet, which I'll be honest, he wasn't as familiar with. He didn't know my feet that well. So he just sees feet in this coffin, and he doesn't think those are Kyle's feet. He just thinks, oh no, they sent us the wrong coffin. And in the back of his mind, he's like, somewhere there's a funeral going on right now, and they're just putting an empty box in the ground. And inside the coffin, I'm sitting there, and I see light coming in, and I was like, oh no. But then I hear him say, oh no, too, except for he said it really quiet and like a lot of times. He was like, no. He's just backing up into the crowd. No. And the crowd is all like, why is he backing up? So they look in the coffin and they all realize it at once. And from inside the coffin, I hear 30 people just go, just suck the air right out of the room. And inside the coffin, I was like, this is my moment. And I pushed open the coffin and I just sat up and I was like, Rah! I have never in my life seen a teacher's face go from so white to so red in such a short period of time. He went from like thinking he was going to die to like having death in his eyes. He was like, you want to be in a coffin? I will put you in a coffin. Now I tell that story for 2 reasons. 1, because it's hilarious. And 2, because it illustrates a good point, which is that oftentimes in life we are afraid of things that are not worth being afraid of. We're afraid of things that can't actually hurt us. We're afraid of things that other people handed us and said, here, be afraid of this, and we just take it. We say, I guess I'm afraid of this now. This is my full-time job. You guys, I travel all over the country and speak. Last year I was on 135 planes. I'm going from one place to another, to another, to another, to another. Been doing this 7 years now. But if you had seen me in the first 5 years, and somebody had asked you, tell me about Kyle, what's he like? He's a speaker, right? Tell me about Kyle. They would say, oh, Kyle, he's funny. He's funny because I like to be funny. I like to make people laugh. I like to make people smile. I like to bring joy into people's life, and I think that that's fine. I think that's okay. I think that's actually good. I think humor is undervalued in our culture, and I think that bringing a moment of levity, a moment of joy, a smile to someone's face who wasn't expecting it, that can be a very valuable thing. But I also know this, that because of that, because I had this reputation as being the funny guy, I think sometimes I was scared to do anything that wouldn't be funny. I was scared to tell any parts of my own story that weren't funny, that didn't make me laugh, that made me sad. But I'm not scared of that anymore. When I was growing up, guys, I went to this tiny little school. I mean, it was like this big. It was hard to fit in. Get it? Because, anyways, it's a bad joke. No, it wasn't physically a small school. It was like regular size doors and windows and stuff. But it was a small school. There was only like 20 kids in my class. And they were the same 20 kids year in and year out. And occasionally we'd get a new kid. Occasionally somebody would leave. But it was pretty much just one group of kids. And I didn't feel like I fit in. Physically, I made it into the building every day just fine. But I didn't feel like I fit in with the students. I didn't feel like I fit in with the teachers and the staff. It was like a private school, very like conservative, very buttoned up, just yes ma'am, no sir, that kind of thing. And frankly, I'm not very good at that. I got distracted a lot. I got sent to the office every year of my entire schooling, starting in kindergarten all the way through when I graduated high school. I would have got sent in college, but they don't really send you to the office in college. I got sent to the principal's office in kindergarten, guys. That's a hard merit badge to earn, but I did it. And it wasn't ever for anything bad. Like, I never beat anybody up. I've never been in a fight. I wasn't like doing drugs or selling drugs. I wasn't like starting a gang on the playground or anything like that. I was just a kid who had a lot of energy. I was that kid. Some of you are this kid. You heard this your whole life. This is what I heard my whole life. Kyle, you got a lot of potential, man. You need to channel that maybe. You just focus, man. And I was like, what? Sorry, there's a butterfly on the window. Can you start over, please? But I didn't feel like I fit in with the teachers. I didn't feel like I fit in with the students either. I would have kids over to my house, and they'd have a great time. We'd play and run and explore and all this kind of stuff, have guys to spend the night and stuff, and then they would go back to their house, and they would like never invite me over to spend the night at their house. So I'd like wait, and I'd have them back over a couple months later, and it always seemed like we had fun. Like I wasn't picked on in school. I wasn't bullied. I just didn't feel like I really clicked. But I was trying. I would have kids over. Hey, man, we're having so much fun. And then they would never like return the favor. So finally, I got sick of it. In third grade, I cornered this kid on the playground. I was like, listen, man, we need to talk. What's going on here, dude? I feel like I've had you over a bunch of times. I don't think friendship has to be this like one-for-one even trade, but it seems a little uneven because I've had you over a lot of times. And according to my records, you've had me over approximately 0 times. And he said, dude, I want to have you over. My mom says I can't. My mom says I can't. I was like, oh, that's cool, dude. You just can't have people over. Like, that's fine. You know, some people can't do that. Maybe your parents don't like having sleepovers, or they just really aren't like kid people, you know? Or maybe your house is too small or whatever. That's fine. Some people just don't have people over. That's fine, dude. You should have just told me. And he was like, oh, no. Sorry, man. I can have people over. I can't have you over. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's how I felt. And I was like, well, why? And he said, my mom says you're dangerous. My mom says you're a bad influence. You can't be in our house. And that hurts, you know, but when you're a kid, really any time in life, somebody says something that could potentially hurt your feelings, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to act like you're tough, right? Like it doesn't get to you. None of that bothers you, right? Somebody says something that can hurt your feelings, you're supposed to act like it bounces right off, even though it doesn't. So he said, hey, man, my mom says you're too dangerous. And I was like, she's right. I'd probably burn your house to the ground, man. Your mom's a smart lady. But inside, that's not how I felt. See, when you're a kid, adults are these people. They're just other people. They're just other humans who are a little bit farther down the road than you are. And so they're able to say, like, hey, watch out for this. This seems like it would be good, but it's not, right? This is really cool over here. Make sure you check that out, right? They're just showing you the way along the road of life. Adults are the people who say, guys, listen, I know that vanilla extract smells like it's going to taste really good, but trust me, it doesn't, okay? How many of you guys did it anyways? How many of you guys put that in your mouth and were like, ah, it's not a trick. They weren't trying to keep it for themselves, right? It's disgusting. That's what adults are for, but here's an adult saying, you're dangerous, you can't be around my kid. And I wasn't like a dangerous kid, I just had a lot of energy. And I began to feel like I didn't fit in with any of these kids. I tried and I tried to make connections, and I didn't feel like it was working. And it wasn't a big step from that idea to the idea that maybe I don't fit in with any kids, because even though we had a small class of only 20 kids, it seemed like everyone else had kind of clicked. Everyone else found their people. And again, I wasn't bullied. I wasn't like ostracized or anything. I was kind of like the weird kid that they were like, they tolerated me, but I wasn't making any deep connections with anybody. So I began to feel like I don't fit in here. And then it wasn't a big step to the idea that maybe I don't fit anywhere. And it's not a very big step from that idea to the idea that maybe the world would be better if I wasn't here. And in third grade and fourth grade, I began thinking about how would a third grader take his life? How would a fourth grader kill himself? And then fifth grade came. And in 5th grade, Zach showed up. Day one, I knew that's my boy. That's who I've been waiting for. That's the guy I've been waiting for this whole time. Zach was my man. Zach was like me. Zach was sarcastic. Zach didn't always have a filter between here and here. Before Zach got there, it was Kyle out in the hall. Now it was Zach, Kyle, out in the hall. I was like, dude, we can do whatever we want out here. They're all learning. Suckers. Zach showed up, and within a few weeks of school, we had just become best friends. And he said one day, he goes, Kyle, do you want to come over to my house sometime? Keep in mind, I've never been over to anybody's house, so inside I was like, don't you blow this, Kyle. Just play it cool, man. Don't show him you have never wanted anything more in life than to spend the night at someone's house. So I was just like, sure, man, I'll come to your house if you insist. What are you thinking? And I have 2 brothers. I have an older brother and a younger brother. My parents both worked full time. And so anytime we wanted to have somebody over, it was like there was some planning that was necessary because our house was like a disaster. And I'd be like, Mom, the house is filthy. And she was like, yeah, you made it that way. Clean it up. And I was like, we seem to be at an impasse here. And so when I would say, can we have somebody over? She'd be like, yeah, let's shoot for like June. And I was like, Mom, it's February. She's like, this is going to take some time. So when Zach, at the beginning of school year, said, Kyle, do you want to come over to my house? I said, yeah, what are you thinking, like January? And he was like, it's August, man. And I was like, yeah, you're right, dude. I'm sorry to put that pressure on you. We'll shoot for March. And he was like, no, I think like August would be cool. I thought like maybe today. Do you want to come over to my house today? And I was like, whoa, you can do that? You can have someone over to your house the same day that you have the idea to have them over to your house? That just like blew my mind. And I was like, you can do that? And he said, well, I'll have to talk to my mom, and I'm sure it'll be fine. After school, he runs up to his mom's car. Hey, Mom, can I have Kyle over? She says, well, let me call his mom. So his people call my people. There's documents and lawyers and contracts. And I go over to his house. Now, keep in mind, I've never been over to anybody's house, and I've been told I'm dangerous and I'm not welcome at some people's house, so I thought this is going to be a trial run. I probably actually won't get into the house. They'll probably keep me in the garage. They'll bring out a bowl of water and a crusty piece of bread and say, okay, you just behave yourself out here. If you behave yourself tonight, we might let you see the kitchen in the morning. You know, like when you're potty training a dog or something, you don't just let it run around right away. You have to establish boundaries. So I thought that's what was going to happen, and we pull into the house, and his mom says, come on inside. And I was like, what, inside? I was like, I must have really behaved myself on the ride over. I go inside. She said, Kyle, can I get you a sandwich? And I said, yes, that sounds amazing. And then she said this thing I've never forgotten. It was one of the most impactful statements anyone's ever said to me. She said, Kyle, have you ever had peanut butter and honey before? And then I said, no, tell me more. And then she put a piece of bread with some peanut butter on it, and she took another piece of bread and she put honey on it, and they came together, and light shone out of heaven. And it was like, ah! And I took one bite, and my mind was like, what is this? I was like in heaven right away, but I was also instantly like kind of upset with my own parents because I was like, we've had the ingredients for this the whole time. What were you doing? They were pushing this peanut butter and jelly agenda the whole time when this was an option. She brings me a sandwich. She brings me a glass of milk. She says, Kyle, make yourself at home. Here's our fridge. Get whatever you want. Here's the pantry. Get some snacks. Change the thermostat. Change the channel. Change our outgoing voicemail message. Whatever you want to do, Kyle, just make yourself at home. See, Zach's mom didn't treat me like I was some problem. Zach's mom didn't even treat me like I was one of her kids' friends. She just treated me like I was one of her kids. And so for the next several years, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, when I wasn't at my house, I was probably at Zach's house. Zach's family became my second family, which was great because my first family was already great. I wasn't running from anything. I just needed a friend. And so when I wasn't at my house, I was at Zach's house. He was my second family. Like I built an addition onto their house and, made my own room in there. I had my own phone line installed and stuff. That's not true. But it could have been. One time, Zach's mom was like, hey, Kyle, we're going to be out of town for like a week. We're going on vacation in Florida, so we won't see you for a bit. And I was like, whoa, what kind of vacation are we talking here? And she said, it's a family vacation. I said, well, I'm kind of like your family, though, so I feel like I should be a part of this. And she said, okay. So I went to Florida with this family twice. Here's the crazy thing. All of those thoughts I'd had in 3rd and 4th grade about wanting to end my life, about I don't belong here, about this isn't my place, gone. All of them were gone. Here's the crazier thing, though. Nothing else changed in my life. See, when I was in 3rd and 4th grade and having those thoughts, I thought, everything's going to have to change, and there's no way that's going to happen, and that's why I think I should maybe just be out of here. There's no way this whole situation is going to get better. It's not like the whole school is going to leave and come back, and I thought that's what would it take. But then all it took really was one person. See, Zach showed me that it only takes one person to make you feel like you matter in life. Zach showed me it only takes one person to make you feel like you belong, to make you feel like you're not alone. Unfortunately, high school came, and in high school, Zach and I had to part ways because our little private middle school only went up to 8th grade, and in high school, we lived in different districts, and so we were still friends and stuff, and it just wasn't the same. We didn't have cell phones back then, so we're like sending pigeons back and forth, and they're getting lost in the middle and stuff. So now I'm starting at a new school, and it's a bigger school, it's a public school, and so now instead of like 20 kids in my class that I don't feel like I fit in with, now there's like 200 kids, and it just felt like I was starting all over. See, Zach showed me it only takes one person to make you feel like you matter. And Sean showed me it only takes one person to make you feel like you don't. I don't know what I ever did to Sean, but like right away in high school, he just decided he didn't like me. And it wasn't like one of those things where I kind of picked up on it. I was like, I don't think that guy likes me. No, he was really upfront with it. He was like, hey, Kyle, I don't like you. I was like, thanks, man. You told me that 10 minutes ago, but thanks for the update. I'm keeping this chart on whether or not Sean likes me, and so far it's just zeros all the way across, but I like that up to the minute data, my friend. But he wasn't just content to not like me. He wasn't just content to tell me he didn't like me. He also wanted everyone else not to like me. So he would tell stories about me that made me seem like a loser. One time, there's this courtyard in our school, and there was a tree, and some guys were playing football or frisbee or something, and they got something stuck up in the tree, and I was like, I got this, boys. So I climb up in the tree. And then right then, Sean walks around the corner, sees I'm in a kind of precarious situation, starts picking up rocks and throwing them at me. Hits me in the face with a rock. How many of you guys have ever gotten punched in the nose before? Anybody? What happens? Water just comes out of your eyes. It's not even like you're crying. That's just how you get water out of a person's face. And I know you guys, there's some deserts in Oregon, okay? If you guys are ever lost in the desert, you're stranded, you don't have any water, you're about to die of thirst, punch your friend in the nose. Water will come out, you'll be saved. You're welcome. So I get hit in the face with this rock, and it hurt real bad, but I wasn't like crying. It was just the water. I get one drop. It was like instant reaction. I had no control over it. One drop came out, and I was like, ah. And I wiped this tear away, and Sean saw that from the ground. He goes, ha, he's crying. Look at him, and he runs off, and he tells everyone I'm crying. He would tell that story all the time. Hey, Kyle, remember that time you were crying? Yeah, Sean, you left out the part where you hit me in the face with a rock. But yes, I remember that. But Sean was right, I was crying. Not up in that tree, but when I got home. That night, and the next night, and pretty much every night. I would come in from home, I'd drop my backpack off, my mom would go, hey, how was school? And I'd go, Mom, oh my gosh, it's so great. School's awesome. I have so many friends. Just don't even ask me their names or any important details about them, but trust me, they are real and they exist. And then I would go back to my room and I would shut the door and I would just break down. And I just felt like, man, this again, huh? Thought I was past this. See, Zach showed me it only takes one person to make you feel like you matter, and Sean showed me it only takes one person to make you feel like you don't. And Travis showed me it only takes one person to stand up for another person. Travis was my older brother. Actually, Travis is still my older brother. That's how it works. I'll never catch up with that dude. He's always 2 years ahead of me, so when I was a freshman, he was a junior. But Travis had found his place in high school. He was on the varsity football team. He was, popular with his group of friends. Everybody liked him. He knew where he fit. But just because Travis had his thing going on didn't mean he could be like, excuse me, everyone, this is Kyle. Accept him as you have accepted me. It didn't work like that. I had to carve my own path. I had to make my own way. But Travis was helpful in certain situations. Travis was a varsity football player. He's 6'4". At the time, he weighed about 350 pounds. He's a big dude. Went on to play college football. So Travis was helpful. If you're like, dude, we can't get in here. This door's locked. Travis was like, what door? I don't see a door. I just see a hole that's shaped like me in this wall. Travis was helpful in other situations like this Sean thing. I never told Travis that Sean was messing with me. I never told him he was giving me a hard time, but I think sometimes a brother just picks up on that stuff. And one day, Travis walks into our locker room, and our locker room at our high school is shaped like an L. So when you walked in the front, you couldn't, the people in the back wouldn't know that you were there until you walked around the corner. One day, Travis walks in, and Sean's in the back telling some story about me. Probably the one about me getting hit in the face with a rock, if I had to guess. That was in the greatest hits. And he's telling the story about how I'm a loser, and Travis is just slowly working his way around the corner. Now, Sean was a freshman like me, but Sean was better than I was at football, and Sean was on the junior varsity team. I was just on the freshman team. And Sean looked up to Travis because Travis played the position that Sean wanted to play. They're both linemen. But Sean also looked up to Travis because Travis is 6'4", and Sean was 5'6". So he looked up to him, legit. So Travis just slowly works his way around the corner as Sean is telling this story, and then all of a sudden Sean sees Travis and just oh, I gotta go. What time is it? I think my mom's here, I gotta leave. And Travis just kind of steps in front of him and he's like, hey, Sean, were you telling a story? Oh, dude, I love hearing stories. Who was that about? And Sean was like, no, I wasn't saying. He's like, I thought I heard you say Kyle. I said, yeah, tell me. And he was like, no, it was a different guy. His name is Tyle. Yeah, his parents didn't love him. I don't know. Anyways, and Travis is like, oh, that's weird. See, I've heard people telling stories about Kyle, and Kyle's my brother. I don't know if you know that or not. And I love him. And Sean was like, yeah, me too. I love Kyle. Yeah, he's the best, right? And he's backing up against this locker, and Travis is just right? And he was like, Travis was like, I love Kyle. And Sean's like, yeah, me too, man. He's like top 5 favorite people ever. No, top three. He's top 3, okay? He's like Martin Luther King and Gandhi and then Kyle. And he, no, fine, Kyle's on top, right? He's just like anything he can say to get out of the situation. And Travis was like, that's so weird because I've heard that some people don't like Kyle, and that bums me out, man. I'm his brother. I love him. And he's like, have you ever loved somebody, Sean? Sean's like, yeah. And he goes, have you ever loved somebody and then somebody else didn't like that person? And Sean was like, yeah. And he goes, well, how does that make you feel? And Sean goes, sad? And Travis goes, angry. I'm angry, Sean, and I'm also not afraid to go to prison. You catch my drift? And Sean's like, got it, done, right? Sean never bothered me again after that. They never found his body either. No, I'm joking. Now, I know I just made a joke about murdering a bully, but I do want to be clear about this. I actually don't hold anything against Sean. I did for a long time. I used to feel bad about him because he made my life hard for a while. But I don't anymore, because as I've gone on, traveled around the country, and as I've gone on in my life and learned more about the human experience, I've learned the truth of this statement, that you've probably heard the statement, but it might not ring true to you as much as it does for me. And that statement is this, that hurt people hurt people. Hurt people hurt people. People who have pain in their life often give that pain to other people, and it just passes on and passes on and passes on. And my guess, my very well-educated guess, is that someone in Sean's life was telling him he was worthless. Somebody in his life was telling him he wasn't worth anything. He was garbage. He was a loser. And Sean took that, and he's like, I don't want this. I'm not built to handle this, because none of us are. And Sean gave that to me. And I know that you're supposed to think, oh, man, I hope he got his, right? That's what we're supposed to think about our bullies. Man, I hope somebody put him in his place. But that's not what I think. I mean, I do hope somebody put him in his place, but I hope they put him in a place where they're like, hey, Sean, you're cool, man. I like you how you are. You don't have to do that. I hope that somebody put Sean in a place where he realized that he was loved and he was valued and he was cared about, so he didn't have to keep passing that pain on to somebody else. I hope that Sean found love and acceptance in his life. See, Zach showed me it only takes one person to make you feel like you matter. Sean showed me it only takes one person to make you feel like you don't. Travis showed me it only takes one person to stand up for another person. And as I've gone on through my life, I've realized it really only takes one person to do almost anything. Like almost anything worth accomplishing can be accomplished by one person, but we don't like to focus on that. We like to focus on big things, big events, big fundraisers, big drives, big organizations, big political parties, all this kind of stuff. It's always on this event, this movement. But if you think back on the biggest impacts in your life, it's been one person, I guarantee it. It's been one person or a small group of people who, whether with words or deeds or actions, said, hey, I love you and I care about you and you're a person and you matter to me. That's what sticks with us. We don't like to talk about that stuff because we like to get off the hook by saying, oh, the group will take care of it, but I'm not a part of the group. We like to say, it's not my job, right? I'm just one person. What can I do? That's not what a leader does. A leader says, whose job is it? Well, if it's not getting done, it's my job. I'll take it. When I was 11 years old, I started going to this summer camp. And I went there every year after that for years. I worked there, like I had 10 years of my life were spent at this summer camp. The first week you were at the summer camp, they inducted you into this tribe. And in order to do that, you had to prove that you trusted the people in your tribe. So you had to stand there, and you'd put your hands on the person's shoulders in front of you, you'd close your eyes. They'd put their hands on the person's shoulders in front of them, close their eyes, all the way down, except the front person had his eyes open so he didn't leave you off a cliff or something. It's called a trust hike. You've got to trust the person in the front. He's a leader, and so he's walking, and he'll go, hey, guys, low branch. We're going under a tree. There's a low branch. Duck down. And you'll go, low branch. You're passing it along. You got to keep your eyes closed. You got to trust what he's saying. And then they would say, okay, guys, there's a big rock on the left. Lift up your foot. Left foot, high rock. And you're going, low branch, high rock, low branch, high rock, right? The weirdest dance ever. And then eventually I'm going, low branch, boom! And I just run into the guy in front of me, just slam his head, in my head, into his head. He didn't say anything, and I didn't have time to say anything. All of a sudden, boom, a head in the back of mine, and then boom, 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 just all the way down. And then we're just standing there. And I was like, is this part of the trust hike? I trust that my nose is broken. And we're just standing there. Nobody's saying anything. We can't open our eyes. Eventually, somebody in the front says, hey, you guys can open your eyes for a second. We're kind of stuck here. And the whole purpose of the trust hike was to go from one campfire ring to this other secret campfire ring way back in the woods. But we weren't at that campfire ring. We were just in the woods. We were on this narrow path, and it curved around up ahead, so I couldn't even see why we were stopped. Something had clearly happened. So this kid next to me, he's one of the older kids. If you were an older kid and you had already gone through this, then your job was to stand along the side with a flashlight because it's dark, it's at night, and to make sure that other people aren't cheating, they're not opening their eyes, and also make sure they're okay. Watch, hey, lift up your right foot, right? Lift up your left, duck down. So this kid's name was Patterson. He had this flashlight, and he's just standing there. And eventually he gets tired of waiting. He goes, hey, what's going on up there? Somebody from the front yells back, snake. They'd been walking, and there was a snake in the path, and they were just, hey, low branch, ah, right? And then boom, 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 boom. Human dominoes. So Patterson waits a minute, and then he goes, "What's the problem?" And they go, "Still a snake from before." Patterson waits another minute. He goes, "Yeah, but why aren't we moving?" And they're like, "Patterson, here's the woods, here's the path, here's our objective, here's us, here's the snake. This is why we are not moving." And Patterson, I'll never forget it, he just goes, "All right." Walks up to the front of the line, 14-year-old kid. Not a counselor, not a staff member, just another camper. All he had was a flashlight, but he had like one of those police, like mag light flashlights, like 20 inches long, like steel. You can run over it with a truck, like it's totally good. Indestructible. He walks up to the front of the line, he stands over the snake, and he goes, "Sorry, my friend, but we have places to be." And he just murders the snake. One shot, one kill. And if you looked close, you could see this little snaky soul squiggling up. And everyone was like, "What just happened?" And then Patterson grabbed the snake, and he throws it in the woods, and he goes, "Let's roll." And everyone there was like, "I will never in my entire life combined be as cool as you are in this one moment." See, it only takes one person to fix most problems if you're willing to fix them, if you're willing to step up, if you're willing to say, whose job is it, and then give yourself the right off. So, hey, well, it's not my job. So many times that's what we do. We say, "Oh, man, there's bullying on our campus." Well, the principal needs to fix that. Man, there's no school spirit. Man, Pep Club needs to fix that. Man, our FFA chapter isn't growing like it used to. Man, the advisor needs to get their act together. Right? It's just, whose job is it and who can I blame and let myself off the hook? But that's not what a leader does. A leader says, what power do I have and how can I use it? Can I fix this problem? By a show of hands, just out of curiosity, how many of you guys have ever had somebody totally make your day by saying one nice thing to you? Look around. It's like every hand in this room. Isn't that crazy? It can be the dumbest thing too, right? Someone can just go, "Hey." You can be walking down the hallway. They're walking the other way. They go, "Hey, nice shirt." And you're like, "This is a nice shirt." And nobody ever notices, but you noticed. And the rest of the day, you're just like walking taller, right? People are like, "Hey, how's it going?" You're like, "I'm good." And you notice this shirt, right? Look at this shirt. It doesn't matter what bad news. The principal comes up. He's like, "Dude, I'm sorry to tell you this. Your house burned down." You're like, "I don't care. I got this shirt. I'm good." You can ride that for like a day or a week or a month. Some of you guys can stretch that compliment out for a year if you need it. Now, on the flip side, how many of you guys have ever had your day totally ruined by some jerk who said one thing? Everyone in here, isn't that crazy? And what's crazier is it can be the same words. You're walking down the hallway and someone's like, "Hey, nice shirt." And you're like, "Thanks, man." And then 2 seconds later, someone's like, "Hey, nice shirt." And you're like, "I am so conflicted about how I feel about this shirt right now. Do I keep it? Do I burn it? Do I put it in a frame? I don't know." Each and every one of us has been in those situations, and here's the crazy thing. That stuff doesn't just go away, does it? I'm 30 years old, and I can think of things that people said to me. Little snide comments, little things about my appearance or my family or the way that I talked or the way that I looked 20 years ago, 25 years ago. And it just doesn't leave you. I guarantee you if you ask any adult in this audience, say, "Hey, was there something some jerk said to you when you were 10? They'll go, "Yeah." And they'll know it word for word. And in the same way, if you say, "Hey, who's somebody that believed in you when you were a little kid?" They go, "Oh man, Miss So-and-so, Mr. So-and-so, he was my first grade teacher and he said, 'You got a bright future ahead of you, man,'" right? We remember that stuff, it sticks with us, but we don't think about that every day. We think about these big things, these grand things that don't really stick with us, do they? But what do you do when you don't even have the power to solve something? What do you do when you go, "Well, I want to make a difference, but the things in my life, the problems in my life, they're too big"? What do you do then? A couple years ago, I got asked to play on a softball team, which is funny because I'm horrible at sports. You guys, I'm so terrible. Like my arms and legs, like they never learned they were supposed to work together. They're just like friends that like got into an argument over a boy and they like never got over it. So my friend said, "Kyle, do you want to play on this softball team?" And I looked him in the eyes and I said, "No, I don't." He said, "It'll be fun." And I said, "I can assure you it won't be. For me or you or anyone else, I am a cursed person. When it comes to sports, it's not going to be good, man. You'd be better off finding somebody else. But thanks for the invite." But he kept pestering me. He pestered me in front of my wife. He said, "Hey, do you want to join this softball team?" And she said, "Kyle, you should do it." And I said, "Babe, you didn't know me when I was in high school. You've never seen me play sports before. You will divorce me and it'll break up our whole family. You want to do that for softball?" But eventually he came up to me one day, he goes, "Dude, I hate to keep bugging you about this, but we've asked everybody we can, and nobody can do it. We need one more player. We don't even have enough people to sign up for the league. You're the last hope we have. Can you please do it?" And my last ditch effort, I was like, "Dude, I don't even have a glove." And he was like, "I got a glove. I got one for you. Also, I already put your name on the list. You're doing this. So I was a hostage softball player. First day of the season, we go into this park, and in this park, there's 4 leagues that you can play in. League number 1 is for people who don't understand what softball is, and their arms and legs don't work together. And I was like, that's for me, that's the league. And they said, Kyle, that league is for children. League number 2 is for people a little bit more competitive, a little harder. League 3, a little bit harder, a little bit more competitive. And then there's League 4. League 4 was insane. League 4 was for people who their whole life was softball. You know, some people have a tattoo and it says Mom, it's a heart. They would cross that out and write softball, right? They were just insane. They would be in 3 or 4 different leagues at the time. They were competing and stuff. I don't mean to judge them, but they were for sure taking illegal steroids, because if you got all of this whole section here and got a big group hug, that's how big the biceps were on one of these dudes. They were just immense. They were just injecting horse blood straight into their neck. It was crazy. They would step up to the plate and just be like, and then it would just the bat would just, it's gone. The bat is just powder now. The ball would hit the moon. That's where those things on the moon come from, the craters. League 4, okay? We go in, we go, what league are we in? No, this can't be right. It says League 4. And we ask the guy that goes, yeah, you're in League 4. The umpire says, your game's starting right now. You're in League 4. And we go, whoa, how do we get in League 4? We asked our team captain. He said, I don't know how this happened. And then he goes, oh my gosh, I know what I did. He went into the office to sign up for the league, and they said, what league do you want to be in? And they explained the league structure, 1, 2, 3, 4. And he said, well, probably not the top one, probably not the bottom one. One of those middle ones is fine, but I don't really know where to put us because we've never played together before. We're just a bunch of guys who, some of us used to be good athletes in high school, some of us weren't. There's one guy, we're not even sure why he's on the team. His name's Kyle, right? And they were just he just said, probably not the top one, probably not the bottom one. But then he said, I know the mistake I made. I said, just put us wherever you need us. And it turned out that League 4 was so intimidating to people that they would not even people wouldn't even sign up for it. They were like, no, I'm not good enough to be in League 4. I like to keep my arms and legs intact. And so I don't want to just have a ball just go through me like a cannon, in a cartoon or something. I'm in League 3 tops. And so they didn't have enough teams to make the league happen without our team. So the league wouldn't have happened without our team wouldn't have happened without me. I felt personally responsible for all the terrible things that happened after that. First game of the season, we're playing against this other team. Now, a typical score in softball or baseball would be 4-3 or 3-2 or something. We were losing by 12 right away. And not 25-37. It was 12-0, all right? They're just dominating, just 7-0, over the fence, every time. I was like, do we even need to go out there, right? We're not even doing anything. We're just running out there. They're scoring a bunch, and then eventually, somehow, we get up. It was embarrassing. And then this guy steps up and just cracks a line drive straight at our third baseman, I think. The ball is going at him. It's not going straight, though. It's kind of doing one of these numbers. I think there might have been some wind that night, or maybe the pitcher put a little curve on it. Maybe they had a wizard on their team. I don't know. And the ball's doing this, and the guy's kind of whoa. And then I'm the catcher, so I'm seeing this from across the field, and I see it kind of hit his glove weird and kind of curves around, and then it hits him in the shoulder, hits him in the leg. He catches it off the bounce and falls down and throws the guy out. Very impressive. But then he stayed on the ground and started screaming and crying. And that was a little bit less impressive, to be honest. And I was dude, get up, please. I didn't have any compassion. I was like, please, dude, we're losing by 1 million points, or runs. I don't even know what they're called in this sport, okay? We're losing by a lot of them. This is embarrassing. Get off the ground. But he's not getting up. So finally our team captain walks over and he's like, hey, man, what's going on? And you just saw the blood drain out of his face. And I was like, ooh. Something interesting has happened over here. So I walk over. Now, if you get squeamish or if you're not a kind of person who likes to hear gross stuff, you should close your ears, because what happened was this. A softball glove has a hole right here. I don't know why. I didn't invent softball gloves, you guys. And people put their finger through that hole. This guy had his finger through that hole, and the ball, that wizard death ball enchantment, whipped around the side, and it saw that finger, and it was like, mine. And it snapped his finger in half. I warned you. So his finger is hanging by a piece of skin, and he's laying there and he's screaming on the ground, and I come up and I go, oh, you know what? Keep crying. That's a totally reasonable response. He's screaming, he's crying. The umpire comes over and goes, you, my friend, need to go to the hospital. So that guy left. And now we're down a player, and the umpire goes, dude, I hate to be a jerk, but it is literally my job to enforce the rules. You don't have enough players. You're going to forfeit the game if you don't find another player. So we're like, well, how much time do we have? He goes, I'll give you 10 minutes. So we're scouring the park. It's a softball park. We're surely we could find somebody else. We're like, hey, can you please play with us? Can you please play with us? Can you please play with us? We're about to get, dominated, but just for a couple, 8 more runs or whatever. And the guy was like, every single person, they were like, tell me the thing again. Oh, you're losing by 12 and your friend's finger got snapped in half? You're under a curse, my man. It's obvious. I'm not going to join your team. You're a sinking ship, right? And I was like, yeah, that's fair. I wouldn't do it either, but I had to ask. So 10 minutes to find a player. 5 minutes has gone by, and we have nobody. So finally, one guy goes, dude, I've got like a last-ditch effort. There's this guy I know. I've only met him like one time, but like I think he'd be down. I met him at this thing, and I think he lives near here. And so we call the guy, and we're like, how far away do you live? He's like, 5 minutes. We're like, can you do it? He's like, I'm on my way. 5 minutes left. He's got 5 minutes to get there. He's 5 minutes away. We're like, is he going to make it? Is he going to make it? Spoiler alert, he didn't make it. He showed up 10 minutes later. But the umpire had given us an extension because he was like, well, your friend's on his way. He probably got stuck in traffic or something. He didn't get stuck in traffic. Here's what happened. This dude walks into the park. Keep in mind, he only kind of knows one person on this team, and we're in the top league in the entire city. He walks in, and his shorts maybe came up to here. And they weren't shorts. They were pants that he had turned into shorts. He cut them off. The pockets were longer than the shorts, you guys. He's wearing socks that came up to here. So it really wasn't that much skin because the socks were up to here, pants were up to here. He's wearing like a cut-off, like plaid button-up shirt that he ripped the sleeves off of, like Larry the Cable Guy. He's got a stupid trucker hat cocked to the side. But the reason that he was late, you could have put on that whole outfit in a minute and still made it. He was late because when we called him, he had a beard. And he decided it would be funny if he shaved it into a handlebar mustache. And he was right. It was 100% hilarious. It was awesome. So this dude that only one of us kind of knows walks up, short shorts, high socks, stupid hat, no sleeves, mustache, bat cocked over his shoulder and goes, let's play some softball, boys. And all of us were like, who is this Willy Wonka leprechaun character that just showed up? Now, if Hollywood were to make a movie about this story, what would happen next would be that guy would like inspire us all. We would remember, we'd rally, we'd remember the power of short shorts, right? And then we'd rally around that and we'd go on to come back from that 12-run deficit and we'd win that game. And then we'd win the next game and we'd win the next game and we'd win the league championship and we'd carry him out onto the field, try not to touch his weird legs or whatever, right? That is not what happened. We lost that game. We lost that game by 20 runs. I remember because that was the rule. If you were down by 20, they would just call the game. Like no matter what inning you were in, we lost all of our games by that rule, except for one, which we still lost, but not by 20, so we basically won. That guy didn't change our outcome at all, but he did change our outlook. See, because our outlook going into that, I remember when I walked up and I saw that guy's finger hanging off, my first thought, I don't know what this says about me as a human being. My first thought was not compassion. My first thought was not, oh my gosh, we need to get you medical assistance. Are you okay? What can I do for you? No. My first thought was, we have 8 more weeks of this. This is gonna suck so bad. And then this guy showed up, and I thought, let's see how this plays out. I'm gonna stick around. This could be interesting. The next week, that guy showed up again. Same outfit, same mustache. I was like, what job do you have that lets you have that stupid mustache? Next week, came back, same outfit, same mustache, but this time one of our other players, he'd gone to a thrift store, got some short shorts, high socks, hat, ripped off his sleeves, shaved a mustache. Next week, I did it. My wife was like, you can sleep in the car until that's gone. If you scroll back far enough, my Instagram is up there. If you scroll back far enough, you'll find a picture of me in short shorts, a shirt, my shorts were up to here, I had a mustache on my face. It was so bad, but it was worth it. Next week, it's like every week, more and more people are coming. See, we realized we couldn't beat these guys. We couldn't compete in this league. We consulted the top doctors in the field. We said, how many steroids do we need to take? And they said, there's no way you can do it. You don't have enough time. You have to build up to that or you'll explode your heart. And we said, next year. We said we can't compete in this league this year, but what we can do is we can't beat these guys, but we can distract them. And so every week we'd come out there with our short shorts and our cut-off shirts and stuff, and we'd be like, all right, give me the pitch right here. And they were like, ugh, can I pitch blindfolded? This is gross. I guarantee you if you were to ask anybody who was in that league, do you remember that league? They would go, yeah, kind of. It was a league they competed in 5 years ago. It would be like if you're a senior in high school and someone said, do you remember your T-ball in 2nd grade? You were like, yeah, I have a picture of it. That's all I remember. I'll never forget that league. That guy changed he didn't change our outlook. That guy didn't change our outlook, but he changed That guy didn't change our outcome, but he changed our outlook. So many times in life when our outcome can't be changed, when we go, I can't fix this problem, I can't permanently fix bullying on my campus, I'm one person. I can't make sure that nobody on our campus ever feels unwelcome. I can't personally be responsible for how our FFA chapter does. Whenever we see that, we go, I can't affect it. So many times our outlook becomes, well, if I can't fix everything, then why fix anything? But what if instead we said, well, I can't fix everything, but I can fix everything that I can fix. I can fix everything around me. I can't make sure that nobody on our campus feels unwelcome, but I can make sure that nobody who's within my sight distance does. I can't make sure that nobody's ever bullied, but I can make darn sure that nobody that I can see ever feels unwelcome, ever feels unloved, ever feels let down, ever feels like somebody's picking on them. Because when somebody stands up and starts making fun of somebody, I can go, hey, not today. Not here. Because that's a human being that you're talking to, and I'm not going to let that fly. And if each and every one of us did that, the problems would evaporate like that, wouldn't they? But we don't want to do that because that's scary. Because we'd have to be the first person to do it. We'd have to step out of our comfort zone. The world's waiting for you, though. See, it only takes one person to lift someone up. It only takes one person to tear someone down. It only takes one person to make someone's day. It only takes one person to ruin someone's day. And each and every one of us has the power to do that. Guys, I have one more story, and I'm going to close with it in a second. But could I get you guys to pull out your cell phones and turn the flashlights on for me? Do you have your phones? Everybody in the stadium, everywhere? Okay, this has zero to do with my talk, but it's very important for me. I've been traveling around the country. I was on, this looks super cool. I was on 135 airplanes last year, and I was like, how can I take this, put all these people together for some cool project? So I decided I'm going to have everyone in the country, I'm going to try to get 10,000 people to sing the greatest rock and roll song of all time, Don't Stop Believing. And so as I've been traveling from audience to audience, I've been asking each audience to sing one or two lines of the song, and I'm stitching it together. My original goal was 10,000 people, but you guys are actually going to push me over that tonight. So I'm going to shoot for 20,000. So here's what I need. Your line is going to be, because you're pushing me over the limit, you guys get Don't Stop Believing, all right? So your line is, don't stop believing, hold on to that feeling. I'm not singing because I'm terrible, but that's what you guys are going to do, okay? So I can't sing because my voice is too close to the microphone. I would drown you guys out. So instead, you guys have to do it. So I will kind of do a spin like this. We'll do it, all right? I need you guys to be as loud as you possibly can. Here, we're going to do a practice round. Your line is just, don't stop believing, hold on to that feeling, all right? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. That was so good, you guys, for a person in a coma. Okay, so now let's be louder than that. 10 times louder. Let's stand up. Stand up for me. All right, I want you guys to be so loud. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Give yourselves a round of applause. That was fantastic. I'll close with this. When I was in middle school, I had this idea to put glow-in-the-dark stars on my ceiling because I was a super cool dude. And I didn't get them as a design choice. I got them because I used to spend every summer at camp, like I said, and our camp was poor, so we didn't have tents. We literally just slept on the ground outside. We had cabins, but when we would go camping, there was no tents. You just lay your sleeping bag on the ground. And you would look up and you would be literally sleeping under the stars. And I thought, man, if I got little tiny glow-in-the-dark stars, not the big obnoxious ones, but the little ones, I could replicate that in my room every night. I could feel like I'm sleeping under the stars, which is this amazing feeling. You just feel like, wow, the universe is so beautiful. And I thought I could have that every night. So I got the tiniest stars I could get, and I put them all over my ceiling. But I didn't just put them on the ceiling because there's not just a square of stars up in the sky. I put them all over the top half of the walls, too. I did constellations. I did everything. It backfired on me the very first night, though, because I woke up in my room and I thought I was outside. Actually, I didn't think I was outside. I knew for a fact. Somebody took my bed and they put it in the forest. And I knew who it was, too. It was my brothers. I was like, those jerks, those turds, they took my bed, they put it in the woods. I didn't think through the fact that they would have had to carry it, tilted on its side, and I probably would have fallen off. I was like, I don't know, man. Maybe they took the roof off. I don't know how committed they were to this plan, but I know for a fact that my bed is in the woods right now. And I was scared, man. But then I realized, your brothers wouldn't do that. They wouldn't just take you into the woods and leave you there. That's a thing a psychopath would do. A thing a brother would do is take you into the woods and then wait for you to lose your mind. You do not turn down an opportunity to watch your little brother just freak out. So I'm like, they're probably 10 feet away. They're probably got flashlights and stuff. They're just hiding in the woods, waiting for me to lose it. So I started yelling. I was like, okay, guys. All right, good joke. Good joke. Let's go home now. And nobody is responding. And I was like, for real, guys, I know you got to be right behind that tree, right? Seriously, I can't even see our house from here. I don't even, come on, let's go home. And every second that goes by and nobody responds, I'm feeling more and more alone, more and more terrified, more scared. And I'm like, okay, guys, for real. Hey, you know what? Let's just leave the bed here. We'll come back from the bed another. We can leave the bed here forever. I'll just sleep on the floor. It's fine. I just want to go home right now. And nobody's responding. And I'm feeling more scared and more alone and more terrified. And eventually I realized I'm going to have to walk out of here. And I didn't think, I should wait until the sun comes up because then I can see where I am. I was like, no, I'm in a murder forest right now. Okay, I need to evacuate. There's no time for the sun right now. So I stood up. Somehow it didn't register that I was standing on carpet. I was just like, this grass and this moss is very soft and flat. And I knew that I was touching my bed, right? I'm still touching my bed. I'm like, I can't just okay, I'm gonna take one step. Okay, I couldn't go slow because I was like, if I go slow, I'm gonna wuss out. I'm gonna keep no. I was like, I gotta go fast. I gotta go full speed. So I was like, all right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, boom! And I just ran face first into the door. Full speed. Slammed my face into the door. A star fell off the wall. I made a wish. And do you ever have one of those thoughts that happens faster than a thought should be legally allowed to happen? In one instant, you're like, oh, that's what's going on here. You suddenly understand the reality of an entire situation. That happened to me, as my nose is just barely making contact. Before it had fully smashed into my brain, I was like, glow-in-the-dark stars. Somehow me screaming for 10 minutes hadn't woken anybody up, but me slamming into the door did it. And my little brother from the next room is like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, this will heal. Worst case scenario, I look like Owen Wilson, that's not a bad look. And I lay back down on my bed, and I pull my covers on me, and I go, yeah, man, I'm okay. I'm okay. Because I realized that in that moment that I wasn't alone. And I know some of you hear that story, and you're like, wow, that story is really dumb. Because, my man, you were not alone that whole time. You were in a house. You were fine. You're just an idiot. I'll give you that. But it didn't matter that I wasn't alone. It didn't matter there were people on either side of me in different rooms, my brother. It didn't matter my parents were upstairs. It didn't matter that my room was at the very back of the house, that I was literally as inside as you could get. It didn't matter because I didn't feel like that. I felt like I was all alone. And guys, in your campuses, your FFA chapters, my guess is right, in this room tonight, there are people who walk through every day. It doesn't matter that they couldn't get to their seats earlier because you guys were all jamming out. You were rocking, you were jumping up and down. It didn't matter that they're going to have to wait in a line to get in a bus later. It didn't matter that every day when they walk to class, they can't get to their locker because there's so many people because they feel like they are all alone. And there are people that it doesn't matter that you can look at them and you can see, hey, you've got the FFA jacket on and you can read their name. You can see what kind of shoes they have and what color their hair is and their glasses. And it doesn't matter. You can look at them and clearly see them because they feel invisible. There are people like that in this room. There are people like that in your school, in your life. And that is not a problem that FFA can solve. That is not a problem that your school can solve. That is not a problem that your advisor can solve. That is a problem that you can solve. Because it only takes one person to lift someone up. It only takes one person to tear someone down. It only takes one person to make someone's day, and it only takes one person to ruin someone's day. And it just so happens that one person is all you've got to work with. Guys, I'm all out of time, but I will say this. One of the things I hate about this job, things I love about this job is I get to have this influence, but my influence is so fleeting because I'm gone tomorrow. I fly back home. If you guys ever need anything, though, my Instagram handle's up there. My website's just KyleScheele.com. I answer every email and DM that I ever get that isn't creepy or weird. That's also where I'll be posting the weird Don't Stop Believing video at some point. But please, if there's ever anything I can do, if you want to bring me in to speak at your school or something, great. That's awesome. I would love to do it. But if you just need someone to talk to, if you just need someone to listen, because that's something that one person can do. So guys, it only takes one person to lift someone up, only takes one person to tear someone down, only takes one person to make someone's day, and only takes one person to ruin someone's day. So what are we waiting for? You guys have been a fantastic audience. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you.
Mr. Scheele, thank you for sharing that important message with our members. For years, we've been told what not to do instead of focusing on what we should be doing. Thank you for giving us that unique perspective. Please accept this as a token of our appreciation. And thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have
One
a great
more
night.
round of applause for Mr. Kyle Scheele. Not every friendship starts with a positive situation. In the case of me and Jimmy, it started with a brief verbal duel over the issue whether or not Batman was better than Superman. But throughout the remainder of my 6th grade year, Jimmy and I learned to stand our ground together. We even began to recruit more members into our Justice League. What started as a very controversial conversation led to a great friendship. In tonight's session, we heard from our welcome speaker, Casey Roats, begin a new adventure with our chapter charter, and listened to our state reporter, Zanden Unger, give his retiring address teaching us the power of love. We then saw the hard work and dedication of our Creed speakers, recognized our foundation partners, and honored our Distinguished Service Award recipients. Finally, we rounded out the night by hearing the inspiring words about what we should do in life from our keynote speaker, Kyle Scheele. Tonight, at the first general session of the 89th Oregon FFA State Convention, we began to stand our ground together. Tonight has been great. In fact, it was the perfect way to kick off this year's state convention. But it's not possible without our session sponsor, Dickman Farms. Let's give Dickman Farms another huge round of applause. In tomorrow's Spirit session, we will hear the results of the Beginning Public Speaking Career Development event, recognize our foundation board of directors, give out our chapter awards, hear a message from our National Secretary, Victoria Harris, as well as the retiring address of our state sentinel, Bryson Price, titled, "Are You on Purpose?" At this time, we'd like to remind all FFA members to please stay after the session is adjourned for reflections. Ladies and gentlemen, convention is only just getting started. With 3 more days of excitement and celebration, I can hardly contain myself, as you just saw. But in order to experience convention at its fullest capacity, we must seize every minute we can. Oregon FFA, when the cards are down and your back's against the wall, just remember to stay committed and always stand your ground. Madam Secretary, do you have a record of any further business which should now be transacted?
Yes, I do, Mr. President. Members, please don't forget to stay after session for our special reflection ceremony. That is all, Mr. President.
Does any member or guest know of any new or unfinished business which should properly come before this meeting? We are about to adjourn the first general session of the 89th Oregon FFA State Convention. As we mingle with others, let us be diligent in labor, just in our dealings, courteous to everyone, and above all, honest and fair in the game of life. Fellow members and guests, join me in a salute to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. I now declare this session adjourned.
Whoa, now we need all FFA members to stay in here. We have a lot of important business to cover before Sergeant Booster gets back for boot camp. Everyone else, feel free to leave.
Yuck.
Good job, Garrett. So let's see, let's let some people file out here first until we get down to business. We don't got a lot of time here now. We got some important stuff to cover, some very important stuff, if we want to make Sergeant Booster happy. Man, look at all that blue. That is a lot of blue. Yeah, woo, 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 woo. That's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. I see that rock on sign right there. That's what I'm talking about. That's what's up. I see you back there, David. I see you back there. Love you too, man. All right, so now we're going to get down to business now that people are starting to file out. First, we need everyone to get up and start marching. Let's go. Everyone up and start marching. Let's go. Everyone, come on. I see you people up there. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's start marching in place. Marching in place, come on. Whoa, 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 whoa. This is not the March of the Penguins, people. Hold on. This is terrible. I don't know what that was. You know, people know nothing about marching in place. So we're going to try this together. When I pick up my right foot, you're going to pick up your left foot and then stomp. When I pick up this left foot, you're going to pick up the right foot, then stomp. And we're going to do this together. Ready? Whoa. You guys are following me now. You're not doing this on your own. Let's go. There we go, people. Now we're starting to march. That's what I like to see. Hold. Smooth, smooth. I like that. I like that. So we need to know how to march now, but we need to learn the most important phrase of boot camp so Sergeant Booster can be happy. And we don't want to make Sergeant Booster mad. The most important phrase we need to know is sir, yes, sir. Nothing else, just sir, yes, sir. Believe me, it'll get us in a lot of trouble if we don't know it. So when I point to this section, you guys are going to yell sir. Right here in the middle, you got to be loud with that yes. And over here, you'll be sir too. Let's try it out. Woo! That's smooth, people. That is smooth. Let's try that again. Woo! That's what I'm talking about. Let's switch it up a little bit. That's what I'm talking about, people. Now let's slap all that together so Sergeant Booster can be one happy sergeant. Woo! Ready? We'll start with marching. Stop! Now I have 3 questions for you. You better watch out. You better not mess with Sarge when he comes in here. He'll get you, boy. He'll get you. All right. I have 3 questions. Oregon FFA, are you present? Oregon FFA, are you ready for state convention? And Oregon FFA, are you ready for some boot camp? That's what I'm talking about, people. All right, you can take a seat. Take a seat. That was amazing. You see what we can accomplish when we have a little bit of direction? We can accomplish amazing things. We want convention to be just as successful as that was right there. So we're going to have Sergeant Booster come out and teach us little things we need to know for convention to be successful. Where is Sarge? Oh, get out of here.
I don't know what I've been told.
I don't know what I've been told.
I always wear the blue and gold.
I always wear the blue and gold.
Sound off.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Sentinel station by the door.
Sentinel station by the door.
I don't know what I've been told.
I don't know what I've been told.
The reporter holds the flag of our stronghold.
The reporter holds the flag of our stronghold.
I don't know what I've been told.
I don't know what I've been told.
Treasurer holds my billfold.
Treasurer holds my billfold.
I don't know what I've been told.
I don't know what I've been told.
Secretary's corn is always gold.
Secretary's corn is always gold.
I don't know what I've been told.
I don't know what I've been told.
RVP is mighty bold.
RVP is mighty bold.
I don't know what I've been told.
I don't know what I've been told.
Our advisors are really old.
Our advisors are really old.
Halt! Welcome to Convention Boot Camp. We're about to go over everything we need to know in order to make this mission of convention a success. I'm talking expectations, locations, official dress, all that good stuff. Let's start with uniform. What are you wearing, Private? What is this? This isn't official dress. This is officially terrible. Get out of my sight. Cry your way back to mommy. Don't even get me started with this. This is the worst official dress I have ever seen. You best go change. Will somebody please explain what proper official dress looks like?
Sir, we have 2 examples of proper official dress here. She is wearing black shoes, black nylons, black skirt, white collared shirt, official FFA scarf, official jacket zipped all the way to the top. Our other example here is black shoes, black socks, black slacks, official dress shirt buttoned all the way to the top, official scarf, and official dress jacket zipped all the way to the top because modest is hottest, sir.
Thank you, Private. That goes for everyone out here. We must be in full official dress in order to walk across this stage at any time throughout the remainder of convention. Time for roll call. What's your name, Private?
Sir Patterson, sir.
Not anymore. I see you taking selfies in the mess hall. You are now Private Selfie. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
What's your name, Private?
Private Greenland, sir.
Oh, I hate the color green. You are now Private Blue. Is that understood?
Sir, yes, sir.
What's your name, Private?
Sir, Private Seal, sir.
Private Seal, like Orc Seal?
Yes, sir.
Can you balance a beach ball on your nose?
No, sir.
Private, can you even swim?
No, sir.
You can't even swim? We ought to get you some floaties. You will now be known as Private Floaty. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
Attaboy, Private Floaty. Private Unger. Private, where is he?
Oh, sorry, Sarge. Come on my way. I'm coming. Sorry, I was doing stuff. I was busy.
Where in Timbuktu were you?
In the back, hanging out. Sorry, Sarge. Coming.
I'd be
Report
shocked
for duty, sir.
Abnormal. Private Unger, you have lost all rights to that last name. You will now be known as Private Gimp. Is that understood?
Sir, yes, sir.
Why you gimping, Private Gimp?
Sir, something dumb jumped up and bit me, sir.
I don't care if something jumped up and bit you. Be on time.
Yes, sir.
You want to explain to them why it's important to be on time?
What Sarge is trying to say is that we need to be ready for all missions. Whenever our squad leader is trying to tell us to rendezvous at a destination, we need to be fully suited for combat. No one wants to be left behind because they wasn't ready for the mission, sir.
What's your name, Private?
Private Price, sir.
Private Price, how tall are you?
5'10", sir.
5'10"? I had no idea they stack manure that high. You will now be known as Private Pile. Is that understood?
Sir, yes, sir.
Your daddy, Mr. Pile, must be mighty impressed.
Sir, yes, sir.
I don't know what I've been told.
Roll call's getting mighty old.
Who said that? Is that you, Private Floaty? Don't lie to me, boy.
Yes, sir.
That's it. Physical fitness time. Everybody on that end of the stage. We're going to do high knees from this side of the stage to that side of the stage. We're going to start with Mr. 5'10", Private Pile. We're then going to go to Private Blue. Private Gimp will limp his way across after that. Private Selfie will take some pictures as she does it. And Butterball here, Private Floaty, will finish up.
I got you, Haley.
Private Floaty, what are you doing?
Nothing, sir.
What are you doing?
I don't know.
Private Floaty, what color do baby boys come from home in the hospital?
Blue, sir?
That's right, Private. Good job. Private Selfie, what color do girls come home from the hospital in?
Sir, pink, sir.
We got pink. We got blue. What happens when you mix them? You get purple, so you don't mix them because I hate purple more than I hate green. Yes. Private Floaty, would you like to explain to them why I hate the color purple?
Are you sure you want me to do that, Sergeant?
Are you questioning me, Private?
Nope. What I think Sergeant's trying to say is that when one soldier loves another soldier...
Whoa, that is not the talk we need to be giving them. Private Floaty, get back in line. You disgust me. You disgust me. Private Selfie, would you please try to redeem Private Floaty?
Yes, sir. Pink is for girls, blue is for boys. When mixed, they make purple. There will be no mixing of colors here at convention. We're here to grow and learn as leaders, and we can't do that if we're too busy thinking about purple.
Thank you. No more purple, Private Floaty. Get back over there. Wait, come to think of it, we haven't punished Private Gimp for being late. Everybody, load up. Private Gimp, we're going to play a game of chicken.
Easy,
You're
sir.
going to run from this end of the stage to that end of the stage. You think you can do it?
Sir, yes, sir,
Oh, you
one-footed.
think you can do it? One-footed.
Sir, yes, sir.
Let's see it.
Sir, what was that?
Is it still easy now, Private?
Sir, no, sir.
You're pathetic.
I'm sorry, sir.
You're below Private
Sir,
Floaty.
no, sir.
Which is below Private Pile. While he gets up, someone please explain why you got to keep your head on a swivel.
Here at convention, it is important to be aware of our surroundings. Keep that head on a swivel and don't run into anyone. Please be respectful to everyone you meet. Also, watch out for those personnel transports, also known as minibuses. Those would leave a mark.
Private Floaty, time for redemption. You're going to carry me across the stage. Think you can do it?
Yes.
Yes, what?
Yes, sir.
I didn't hear the first sir.
Sir, yes, sir.
That's what I thought. Don't tell me you can do it if you can't do it.
I can do it.
Get it, Floaty?
Are you calling me fat, Private?
No, but what did you eat? No, I got this.
I only
Back
had-
up.
One, I feel awkward.
Okay, help
Two,
me.
I don't want
Help
you to
me.
hurt.
We should tap him.
Huh?
3, 2, 1, drop.
Private Floaty, front and center. Now back up. At least you can do that right. Private Self, will you please explain why you had to help Private Floaty?
Here at convention, we have the opportunity to meet and work with many members from across the state. Keep an open mind. Break outside your comfort zone. You never know who you might meet.
Private's front and center. Circle up. This here grenade is a live grenade. He who drops it dies. I'm betting Private Floaty's gonna drop it.
Oh, oh. 3, 2,
Private Pile can
1.
count.
Oh!
Private Pile, did you just drop that live grenade?
No.
Yeah, you're lucky it's a dud, just like you. If that grenade was live, you would have killed your whole squad. How does that make you feel?
I feel terrible, sir.
Does it look like I'm your mama? Do
No.
I care about your feelings?
No.
You disgust me twice. Get back in line. I can't even look at you anymore. 5 minutes for lunch.
Sweet. Yeah.
I was waiting for that all day.
It's about time, man.
You know, water doesn't really constitute as lunch.
Man, I wish we had something else to eat.
Ew.
And why?
What's this
What are
thing
these
on the
things?
top?
Are you complaining about your meal accommodations? It's a Coca-Cola bottle. I drank the Coke. I gave you water. That's what you need to live. I gave a sheep nipple for Butterball there because he probably can't drink out of something that doesn't have a sippy cup.
That's probably true, sir.
So do you want to explain to these people if you don't like your Coca-Cola sheep nipple water, what else you can go get?
There are food options available here on site. As well, there are many restaurants nearby, and those are a good option. However, going somewhere without permission is not a good idea. We must listen to our superiors, our advisors, at all times.
Thank you, Private Pile.
You're welcome, sir.
Starting to shape up into a little bit better of a day. Let's recap what we've talked about.
Always wear proper official dress.
Always be on time.
Blue, pink, no purple.
Be aware of your surroundings.
Meet new people.
Follow all chapter rules.
We have plenty of food options.
Let's go home. I I don't know what I've been told.
I don't know what I've been told.
I always wear blue and gold.
I always wear blue and gold.
Sound off.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Sentinel station by the door.
Sentinel station by the door.
I don't know what I've been told.
I don't know what I've been told.
Reporter holds the flag of our stronghold.
The porter holds the flag of our stronghold.
Everybody repeat after me. I don't know what I've been told.
I don't know what I've been told.
The treasurer holds my billfold.
The treasurer holds my billfold.
I don't know what I've been told.
I don't know what I've been told.
Secretary's corn is always gold.
Secretary's corn is always gold.
I don't know what I've been told.
I don't know what I've been told.
RVP is mighty bold.
RVP is mighty bold.
I don't know what I've been told.
I don't know what I've been told.
Our advisors are really old.
Our advisors are really old.